Hola, hola, hola. Vianey Rodriguez here from sunny South Texas, your Tex-Mex resident queen. And today we are making the ultimate Tex-Mex dinner, stacked beef enchiladas. Let's get cooking. Think of this as a deconstructed enchilada. Enchiladas typically would be rolled, filled and rolled, and then topped with cheese. Here we're giving it a twist. So we're gonna stack our enchiladas. So you're gonna start with a tortilla, your beef filling, some cheese, then we're gonna top it with another tortilla, add some more cheese, bake it in the oven till it's nice and bubbly, and then we're gonna serve it. It's delicious, and the presentation is stunning. So let's get in the kitchen and start that chili sauce. For your chili sauce, you're gonna need 7 guajillo chilies. These are guajillos, and you're gonna need 2 ancho chilies. So these, you can find them in the produce section. They're bagged and they're dried. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna rehydrate our chilies so they can easily be blended in the blender. So first we're gonna clean them. So I'm gonna show you how to do that. You're gonna tear off the stem, then you're gonna run your finger through the chili, and you're just gonna break it open. Super easy. So guajillos are nice and shiny, they're bright, and they don't have a lot of heat. They just have a little punch of warmth. I love to use them in a lot of my dishes. So I'm just gonna simply remove the seeds. If you can see, they easily fell out. I'm gonna take these little ribs out, and there you go, nice and clean. And while we're here, we're gonna check it to see if there's any bruises, any little drier bits, or any little mold. So you want your chilies free of dust, bruises, and mold when you purchase them. Now we're gonna clean the ancho chile. This one's a little tougher, so you're gonna have to really get in there. This one in the inside, the ancho, is a little stickier, so you're gonna have to really get in there and get those seeds out. Guys, don't be afraid to use these. These add great flavor to your dish, and they bring little heat. And for our enchiladas today, we're gonna pass our tortillas through the chili sauce, so it's gonna tint our tortillas this smoky red. It's gonna be beautiful. So we're gonna add our chiles to our boiling water. Okay, so this will take about 5 minutes, and make sure they're submerged at all times because we want them to be nice and soft. Don't throw away the cooking liquid because we're gonna add that to the blender also to help it move along. You can tell that the chiles are ready when they become nice and plump and they're not in their dry state. So I'm gonna add my chiles to the blender. Okay, now I'm gonna add some of this cooking liquid to help the blender blend it nice and smooth. Okay. So I've added just a little bit, about like 3 ladles of the cooking liquid. I'm gonna start the blender, and if I need more, I'll add additional cooking liquid. This is the consistency you want in your chili sauce. You want it nice and blended. And remember, we've hydrated our chilies, but we haven't cooked them yet. Once we pass them to the corn tortillas, we're gonna get the nuttiness from the corn tortillas and the smokiness from the chile, and it's gonna be amazing. So we've made our chili sauce. Next, we're gonna make the beef filling. And we're gonna do something a little different than traditional ground beef. If you saw in the last video, I made picadillo, and I added diced onions, tomatoes, and garlic. Here, we're going to actually blend the garlic and the onion. The blended onion and garlic immediately soak into the ground beef, adding a ton of flavor. I'm gonna dice some onion. We don't have to have small pieces. We're just gonna throw it all into the blender. Then we're gonna do 5 garlic cloves. Okay, I'm gonna remove the skins and add them to our blender. I'm gonna add just a little bit of water to help it blend. Okay, so this is the consistency you're looking for. So I have my skillet over medium-high heat. I'm gonna add just a touch of oil. So here we go, we're gonna add our ground beef. Okay, so I'm using the back of my spoon to break up my ground beef because I don't want big chunks. I want a smooth consistency of ground beef, which will be completely flat over our tortilla. Okay, so now I'm going to add our onion and garlic puree. I'm gonna mix it in, and I'm gonna continue to break up my ground beef. Okay, so we've added our onion and our garlic puree to our ground beef. It's been cooking a few minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and add some water. Okay, I'm gonna crank the heat down to a simmer and I'll let it simmer for 15 minutes. Okay guys, we've got our chili sauce ready to go. Our ground beef is simmering away. Next, I'm gonna walk you through the final steps of pulling this entire enchilada sauce together. So first, back here I have a stock pot. I'm gonna warm through some beef broth and some water. So we're gonna put that on a nice simmer. We just want that to warm through. Then we're gonna slide over here and I have a skillet. I want to brown some flour to help thicken up our ground beef filling. I'm gonna add just a touch of oil. I'm gonna come in here with my flour, add it to my pan, and with a whisk, I'm just gonna whisk. We want this to cook through, lightly browned, and this will help to thicken our filling. Okay, so our flour is nice and lightly golden. You can smell when you add raw flour to the pan, and once it's cooked, the smell takes on a different, it smells toasty. So once you know that you have that toasty smell, you're good to go. So I'm gonna add my flour to my ground beef. Then I'm going to turn this off before I burn myself. I'm gonna move my broth over and we're gonna add it to our ground beef. We're gonna slowly add this very carefully to our ground beef. Okay, and as you can see, as soon as I added the beef broth, my ground beef started to thicken up and create this thick sauce, which is going to be so delicious on our enchiladas. I'm gonna give it a quick stir. This is the consistency we're looking for. We want it nice and thick with that little gravy that we made with the browned flour. So we've got loads and loads of flavors, but we're gonna add more. We're gonna add some salt. I'm gonna come in with some pepper. We're gonna do, of course, my beloved cumin, once again. We're going to add chili powder. This is gonna give it great color also. And we're gonna add a little bit of heat with some cayenne pepper. Okay, so I've added all my spices and I'm gonna mix it thoroughly. We want all those spices to incorporate into our ground beef. Okay, so I have a skillet here over medium-high heat. I've added about 1 inch of oil and we're gonna start to fry our tortillas. We don't want a tostada, crispy like a tostada. We want it just a tad bit less, okay? So we want it light and crispy, but not too crispy. Gonna flip it over. Our stacked enchiladas consist of 3 tortillas. We have our bottom, our middle, and our top layer. Here we go. Here's our first one. We're gonna tap it on the side to remove that excess oil. Place it on our paper-lined plate to drain, and we're gonna continue on our next one. If you have a few tortillas that have like the little ridges or little cuts, this is the perfect opportunity to use these. No one's gonna see any of the tears or rips because we're gonna top it with all that amazing beef filling. Another reason we're frying the tortillas is we're gonna pass them through the chili sauce. Frying allows it to hold up against the chili sauce. Okay, so here's our last one. And now I'm gonna show you how to assemble these. I have my oven preheated at 350 degrees. I have a baking sheet. We're gonna bake these on a baking sheet. Tex-Mex tip, if you fry tortillas, the one on the top is gonna be the hottest. Flip it over, not on yourself, and you can start with the bottom one, which should be nice and cool to the touch. We're gonna grab our tortilla, place it over the chili sauce. I've added my chili sauce to a plate to make this easier. We're gonna flip it, and then we're gonna place it directly on our baking sheet. Then we're gonna come in with our ground beef filling. We're going to add a spoonful and we're gonna spread. We want it to spread evenly over each of the tortillas. Okay, so there we have our first layer, our tortilla dipped in chili sauce. We have our ground beef. Now we're gonna top it with cheese. I mean, the smells in the kitchen right now are amazing. We have the smell from the chili sauce, our ground beef. I mean, you can't beat the smell of a fried tortilla. So next we're gonna start with our next layer. So we're creating a stack of yummy goodness. So you're doing the same steps over and over to create your stacked enchiladas. This is our final layer. We're not adding beef filling, we're just adding more cheese. Okay, more cheese to the top. And there you have it, guys, your stacked beef enchiladas. We're gonna assemble a few more and then we're gonna pop them in the oven and I'm gonna show you how to serve them. We have assembled our stacked beef enchiladas. You can tell we have the 3 corn tortillas with that filling in the middle and plenty of that cheese. I'm gonna pop these into a 350-degree oven for about 10 to 12 minutes. We want that cheese to be nice and gooey. Here we go, guys. Here is our stacked beef enchiladas. Okay, I'm gonna add it to our plate. As you can see, our cheese is nice and bubbly, and we wanna add some freshness. So we're gonna top them with some diced onion and some diced radishes. And there you have it, homemade Tex-Mex stacked beef enchiladas. Be sure to like and subscribe for some more Tex-Mex goodness coming your way. Hasta pronto.